My guests tonight include Lord Boothby and Miss Mai Zetterling. But first, one of our rising stars of the theatre, a member of the Royal Shakespeare Company, once described as the sex queen of that company. Indeed, the point about her is that the critics spend as much time discussing her physical attributes as assessing her acting ability. One called her an amorous boa constrictor. Others have called her sensual, graceful, and the final accolade, and I quote, "She's especially telling in projecting sluttish eroticism." She is Miss Helen Mirren.
Sluttishly erotic for you.
That was nice. What do you think when people say things like that about you?
They're free to their own opinions of me. They can think what they like.
Does it bother you?
No. I mean,
Does it flatter you?
No.
Does it annoy you?
No.
Just doesn't move you at all?
Not in the slightest, in any direction whatsoever.
Do you get fed up of being sort of branded in that way, in a sense, though? You know, of saying that she's a sort of sex queen?
No, I think there must be some truth in it. People keep saying it. There's...
I think they're right.
I hope they're not, but you are what you are, and you are what other people think you are, and you can't avoid that.
Do you think, I mean, you are, in quotes, a serious actress?
In quotes?
Yes.
What do you mean in quotes?
Well, you know, it's because it's a kind of cliche, people say, a serious actress as opposed to an unserious actress. But do you find, in fact, that this, what could be best described as your equipment, in fact, hinders you, perhaps, in that pursuit?
I'd like you to explain what you mean by my equipment in
well, people watching,
great detail.
Well, your physical attributes.
You mean my fingers?
No, I meant your...
Come on, spit it out.
I meant your figure.
My figure? Sorry, what was the beginning of the question? I forgot that.
The question was, do you find that your figure, your physical attributes, which people always go on about, hinder you in your pursuit of the ambition of being a successful actress?
A successful and serious actress, because serious actresses can't have big bosoms. Is that what you mean?
Well, I think that they might sort of detract from the performance, if you know what I mean.
Really? I can't think that can necessarily be true. I mean, what a crummy performance if people are obsessed with the size of your bosom or anything else. I would hope that the performance and the play and the living relationship between all the people on the stage and all the people in the audience overcome such boring questions. Really.
Boring questions?
Pretty boring in the end, yeah.
What's that?
That was going to be my headdress, but I decided it looked rather silly, so I thought I'd carry it instead. It's also my nervousness gauge, I think. I don't know if I dare hold it up and test it out.
It's doing okay.
Not very good.
Is that a tattoo mark there?
Yes, that's a tattoo.
Oh,
I picked that up in the Merchant Navy.
One
drunken night.
When you were a Matelot?
Yes, that's right.
Did you really, though? I mean, how did you get that?
Did I really? Actually, I got it on an Indian reservation. It was done by an Indian girl. The Indians tattoo themselves very casually. It's no big deal with them. And I got sort of inspired with their attitude to it.
Are you glad you did
Drunk
it?
2 glasses of brandy and had it done, fainted on the spot, and woke up with my permanent mark on it, on myself. Yes, I'm very, very pleased I did it.
It's because, in fact, you can't get them off, can you?
No, I never would have it taken off.
Yeah. Tell me, Helen, we've talked a bit about, we'll leave off this sort of sexy image thing that the critics write about. But in fact, for somebody who has achieved that, you came from a remarkably sort of sober background, didn't you?
I hope my parents are listening to hear you say that. Yeah, my parents were pretty sober, I suppose. I mean, they didn't drink.
What kind of people were they?
I hate calling people anything. They were my parents, my beloved parents. I hope they're watching. Well,
I presume that they had jobs. People are different. They look different. They talk different.
Yes, but
they have different jobs. I mean, it's absurd to pretend that they're not.
Yes, but it's very dangerous to stick labels. I mean, if I was to say my parents were middle class, everyone's got a different idea of what middle class means.
Well, were they middle class, in your view?
Well, I suppose so, yes.
And you went to convent as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I went to a convent grammar school.
Do you enjoy that?
Not very much. I don't like schools. I was a teacher later on. I didn't enjoy that either. I don't find the school system at all conducive to education.
Did you find being at convent in any sense repressive?
I find all schools repressive. I don't think the fact that it was a convent made it any more repressive. There were a few silly rules, like not sitting down on the grass on a hot, sunny day when all you wanted to do was sit down on the grass, and not undoing your top button here, and not rolling up your sleeves, and wearing long grey woolly socks. But those are unimportant things. The much greater question of lack of liberty is what happens to people's minds in schools.
What happened to yours?
I don't know. I'm still finding out, I suppose. I think you go on living with what happened to you in your early life for the rest of your life.
Did you want to be an actress at that point when you were at convent?
Yes, I did. Oh, very much so, yes. It was... No, I first discovered I wanted to be an actress when I was at primary school, actually. I played the Virgin Mary. Why do they laugh?
I didn't laugh. I kept a straight face.
And I was really rather good. People said I was good, anyway. And I got that terrific feeling of, I don't know, of being good at something, I suppose, and other people recognising it. I remember that very clearly, that feeling.
And you've never been sidetracked in that ambition at all, then, since then?
Oh, greatly sidetracked, yes. I've been wanted to be practically everything I can think of. And I admire the people who are more than one thing enormously. I admire your guest who's coming on soon,
Michaël,
for exactly that reason. She's achieved many different things in her life. And I would like to be that. I don't find acting the be-all and end-all of existence at all.
So how else, then, do you think you might, in future, perhaps fulfill yourself? Would it be in directing, writing, like Michaël, or what?
I'm not a planner. I don't like plans of any sort. So I believe in a true following of instinct, and that's a difficult thing to describe, because it's not just doing what you want to do. That's not following your instinct. That's a very sort of impoverished idea of it. But really following your instinct in the sense that you keep yourself always open to possibilities, and when the possibilities come, you recognise them and you go with them. I just hope that other possibilities will occur in my life.
Well, you had once worked, didn't you, as a fairground barker?
Barker, yes. Well, it was a sort of Saturday morning job I did when I was at school, much to the fury of my parents, for example.
Well, what did it require you to do? What did you have to do?
I stood at a dart stall, and I called out to the people who were walking by to try and attract them to my stall as opposed to anyone else's. I've always been very attracted by fairground circus life, you know, a transient life like
Why?
that. I don't know, I can't say why. You know, it's like that song by, who is it by? Shirley Bassey, is it? I wanted to join the circus. No, go on, you tell me what's the name. Eartha Kitt, exactly. I mean, that's my sort of one of my theme songs, absolutely. You
were quoted recently saying that you like sort of fairground men with greasy hair and leather jackets, you said. Would that be another reason, perhaps, why you enjoyed being in a fairground?
Possibly, or possibly I got the idea while I was there. It's not so much that I like men who look like that, but yes, I suppose I do, but I mean I strongly dislike men who look in another way. Like men who wear very nicely cut suits. I mean, I wish you'd worn your leather jacket. I bet you do at weekends, don't you?
I've only ever worn...
You just don't on the TV.
I do wear a leather jacket, actually. I wore a leather jacket, I bought one once, a leather jacket, a shiny new job. I felt very embarrassed in it. Does anybody...
leather jackets have to get old as you get
now
old.
You tell me, you see.
You have to live in them.
But I felt very embarrassed about it, as you do when you change skin, so to speak, you know. And I was going to wear it on the show, and I thought I'd test it out on other people. And I got in the lift at the 7th floor of the television centre. It was jammed with 20 people in the lift. and I was forced up against the door, you know, the petition, and I felt sure they were all talking about me behind my back.
Paranoia.
Right. You know the feeling?
I know the feeling.
That's right.
Well.
And it dropped down to the 4th floor, and it opened, and there was Eric Morecambe. And he put his glasses on the side of his nose and said, "Parky, you look like a tall wallet."
I should take him to task about that if I ever meet him.
Let's talk about nudity, not clothes. Let's talk about the fact that you, in fact, have taken your clothes off on screen and partly disrobed on stage as well. Do you have any sort of feeling of embarrassment about it when you do it?
Yes, I used to. I didn't enjoy it at all. But I felt that that was my problem, basically. Again, one of those things that you were taught at school that you spend the rest of your life fighting to get out of. There are lots of reasons for feeling uncomfortable about taking your clothes off in a movie, and one of them is that basically whatever the director says, you know, basically you know that it's being done for commercial reasons. And it's a male chauvinist kind of, you know that phrase, I'm sure.
I've heard it before.
You've heard it before, yes. Right. But, and I think that that's probably the main source of the discomfort, is that you somehow feel as though you're being got at and you can't quite explain why. For instance, I used to go swimming in Jamaica with my friends without any clothes on. And that was no embarrassment at all. It's a very nice feeling. I do think that if girls have to take their clothes off on film sets, then everyone should do it who's engaged on the film, and then...
That's a good idea, actually, isn't it? They'd probably stop making nude movies then. You mean the
perhaps
director
they will,
and...
Perhaps they... Yes, everyone on the film set should just... Because the thing about being naked, in that sense, is that you're the only one. You know, you're all alone. And everyone else has got their clothes on. It's just a funny feeling. It's not nice to be the outsider. Yes.
And yet, of course, you curiously enough, well, perhaps not curiously enough, you refused to pose in the nude for Playboy, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I find a Playboy pornographic magazine. I mean, much more pornographic than Screw or any of those so-called pornographic magazines. It's disgusting because it's pretentious and romanticized and sort of, I don't know, it's just money. It's just a, you know, it's just a book of money and an attitude to money, basically.
Diana Rigg says she wouldn't do it for the same thing because
really?
She refused to have a staple through a navel. Now let's talk about what's coming up next for you, because in fact you're going to, in 2 weeks' time, isn't it, appear with the Royal Shakespeare Company?
Is it 2 weeks? Yes, beginning of March.
That's right, in Lady Macbeth.
No, it's not called Lady Macbeth.
I know it's not Lady Macbeth. You're playing Lady Macbeth.
I'm playing Lady Macbeth.
Yes,
that's
indeed.
Right.
How do you go about approaching a part like that, which has been done so many times by so many great actresses?
Just go at it like anything else. Take the bull by the horns. The fact that it's been done by hundreds of actresses better and worse than you before, and will be done by hundreds of actresses better and worse than you after use, irrelevant. It's a good part, it's a good play, and it's got something to say to you personally as an actress appearing in it, and something to say to the audience watching it. And that's all that you've got to be interested in or involved in, I think.
Yes. Are you aware, too, as somebody who works with the Royal Shakespeare Company, that there are a lot of people in this country who are very much put off by Shakespeare? I mean, you've obviously thought about this, but anybody...
Oh, I'm sorry.
Gesundheit. Is it hay fever?
I think so, yes. I sneezed earlier on today when I was doing a radio recording disastrously.
Have you ever you must have obviously considered that point and wondered why perhaps it is?
What? I'm sorry. What were you saying? Why is what? I'm not being difficult.
No.
Sorry.
No, you wouldn't be difficult, would you, at all?
Water at this moment.
I'll tell you what. We'll forget about
composure.
that. We'll forget about that question. And while you regain your composure, in a moment I'm going to show you some film. In the meantime, Helen Mirren, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.